Welcome to Press Start to Join, a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network powered by ETB. This is episode 220, and I'm Alan.
I'm Josh. We got on a bit of a tangent today where we just stop being a scalper. Don't be a scalper. Don't be a scalper.
Yep. We also talk about the just awful things that Facebook is doing and has had done to them recently.
I realize I have a recommendation for an interesting phone game I've been playing on Android.
And I have a recommendation for a series on Netflix that I accidentally the whole thing. First up this week, the flu shot. Everyone, don't stop what you're doing, but at your first opportunity, go out and get the flu shot. If you're in Canada, it's free, and it makes you not get sick, and it's a good thing.
I think clinics in the States do it for free, but those are the free clinics that are generally super long lines.
Well, I was reading about the U.S. If you have any kind of coverage at all, the flu shot's covered by the ACA, the Affordable Care Act.
Awesome.
If you don't have any insurance whatsoever, it'll be in the ballpark of like $30.
Because it definitely, with the fact that there's people that refuse to take it, as well as the people who can't take it because of an allergy or they have an autoimmune something, we need to be able to help them in some way by not spreading it.
Absolutely. It's all about the herd immunity. Even if your immune system is all good and fine and you're great, still, if you don't pass the virus around, that's going to help literally everyone else around you not get sick. And I'd say that's worth $30 if needed. I actually looked up some statistics. Apparently the CDC estimates that the 2015-16 flu shot stopped over 5 million cases of the flu, saved over 2.5 million hospital visits, and prevented over 3,000 deaths.
It does that.
And it's this is kind of a no-brainer. We've been doing this for a long time as a human race, and it's pretty well tested and solid. So I don't know. It's just I go to the grocery store, get my flu shot, buy my groceries, come home. It's easy.
I walked into the Safeway, and right up front was a lady at a desk with everything laid out. And I was like, oh, it's flu shot season already? And she's like, I've never seen anyone excited.
Well, I honestly, one of my big reasons for getting it is to not get you sick. Because you got the whole not so good lungs thing going on.
Yeah, with my lungs, a whiff of flu will kill me dead.
Plus, I am technically immunocompromised, so probably a good idea for me to not get it either.
And then me to you too.
Yeah. And actually, as a bonus, I went to the grocery store, got my flu shot, and as I was walking out, I saw this display of Halloween decorations, and this little skeleton alligator was just winking at me, and he's amazing, and I love him. So that's my new roommate.
I love him.
Yeah.
I actually, since I spend money when I'm stressed, I almost bought a prop T-Rex skull at Superstore, which is a big brand.
Oh yeah, that was 2 shelves up from my alligator.
Oh. It's the same shelf I got the mug.
Oh, nice.
We got skull mugs.
Yeah. But yeah, actually, if you want to check out my skeleton alligator, he's all over Twitter. He's on the PS2J and my personal one. And Instagram also, because I did that. I did an Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was...
I grammed that Insta.
I was halfway underground in concrete buildings, so I had little internet all day.
Ah, jeez. Well, moving on to actual news here. First up, the Facebook portal is here, and it's kind of not great.
It's so weird.
So, listeners might recall us talking about the Facebook portal back when it was first announced in episode 173, all the way back in January.
Whoa.
For those who don't remember, I sure didn't. It was originally billed as a tablet with a camera and a microphone for voice commands, and it's all built for video chat and to make things convenient, ? It's we all have cell phones and laptops and things with cameras and microphones. Why do we need this? Is it gathering our information? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. So the device they put on offer last week ended up being something kind of like the Amazon Echo, with a touchscreen that you can sync your Facebook account on for video calls via Facebook Messenger. And like I said, like a Facebook camera and microphone in your home listening at all times, what could go wrong? Yeah. They originally told reporters, like this is straight from Facebook executives, saying that no data would be collected. And then they later came back and revised the story, like, oh, wait, okay, sorry. We are collecting data. We might use the data. No guarantees we're going to use it, but we might choose to use it in the future. So all the data from your Facebook Messenger calls, all the different apps you're using through the Facebook portal, and it's all to, of course, serve Facebook's customers, the companies selling ads, or buying ads, rather. So, yeah, it's if you want a little portal in your home that feeds information to corporations to target you better with ads, good news! Facebook's got something for you.
Because there's a huge demographic of people where Facebook is the internet to them, and they're probably so excited for this.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate to my mind. Like, Facebook isn't a company for people. Facebook is a company about gathering information and selling it to businesses.
And then they'll get a Minions carrying case for it.
Yeah, well, that's beside the point. On the topic of Facebook, actually, they've recently announced that there has been yet another hack of all that information that they're collecting.
No way.
About 50 million people affected this go-around so far.
Yeah,
they're still doing digging.
My sister got one of the notifications.
Oh, yeah.
And I just because I'm concerned about people close to me, she said, I got an email that said I got hacked. And I'm like, is there any links in there? Like, do you believe it? And she scrolled through. She's like, I think it's real because it tells me to go to my own Facebook account and what, help desk stuff to click on. And I was like, yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, if it just tells you navigations to do instead of saying, like, click this link and put in your password.
Yeah.
Then it's more likely legit. So, the story behind this hack is that hackers were able to exploit a vulnerability in that View As feature that everyone has on their profile in order to steal access tokens. Those tokens kind of work like a digital key that lets you stay logged into apps. So, and then they used those tokens to basically take over people's accounts.
Pretty ingenious.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, however they found this vulnerability, like, man, these are smart people, and I wish they were using their powers for good, but...
Yeah.
So Facebook has now invalidated all the access tokens for almost 90 million accounts as a precaution, they're saying. They're still saying only 50 million were affected. And for all the users that were that had their access tokens invalidated, they sent notifications to all of them saying, like, here's why you've been logged out.
Yeah.
That's probably what your sister was seeing in her email. If you're curious about it, you can go to facebook.com/help/security notice and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and they'll actually tell you if they think your account was affected.
Oh.
It also gives a quick breakdown of what kind of information that was, I don't know, hacked. The good-ish news is the hack did not give people access to your password. So you don't need to go changing all your passwords because you use the same one for Facebook as everything else. Because who doesn't?
Because the access key gave them like a temporary thing, so they didn't even go through that vector.
Yeah, well, the access key basically let them pretend to be logged in, but in order to change or access stuff about your password, I think it makes you retype your old password. So they wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, that's good security.
On the downside, they do have basically all of your other information that isn't your password.
Yep.
Like your name, your contact info, your gender, your religion, locations you've been tagged in, pages you've liked, etc.
Phone numbers,
etc. Oh yeah, all that contact info. I mean, all in all, this is just kind of another example of why people should really be wary of giving Facebook more data than they have to, which, if you think about it, is zero. You don't have to give Facebook anything. Moving right along. Microsoft has released a large update for the Xbox One, and it's bringing in some interesting features.
Yep.
First up, we've all got new Xbox avatars with a bunch of new inclusive options for clothing and body types. They've also added things like wheelchairs and prosthetic limbs so people with disabilities can represent themselves that way if they so choose. With the new clothing and body types, they've made sure to kind of give options for Like there's masculine and feminine options, but it's not just straight up male, female, and
Right.
you don't get locked out of one side of the clothing or the other. So you can mix and match to whatever represents you the best, which is kudos to them. That's a good idea.
Yeah, an avatar generator should be genderless and just give you every option.
That makes a ton of sense. Skin, hair, clothes, accessory, they can all also be recolored from the full palette of apparently more than 16 million options, so that's fancy.
Yeah, I had fun selecting my favorite gray.
Yeah. And fans of the old avatars from the Xbox 360 days still have the option of sticking with the classic ones, so that's kind of neat too. But there is a caveat with the new ones in that Xbox has done a good job of trying to make things inclusive and give options to everybody, but I feel like they haven't done enough options, enough variety. Like there's, 7 masculine body shapes, and none of them I feel like look like me. There's one that's kind of me, but weirdly lumpy, and then there's one that's me if I was a 12-year-old. And there's no real in between there, and I don't know. Or one thing Josh pointed out that immediately started bugging me: none of the avatars have necks.
It
Goes
weird.
chin chest right there. They're all. It's a bold move, and as almost as part of that, maybe like you can control aspects of your face, like your eyes, your ears, your nose, your chin, but not your head. Your head shape specifically stays the same. So they chose kind of a generic round-ish shape. So that's another piece that doesn't really look like me. So, I mean, I can give myself a prosthetic limb, but the head doesn't look like me. So the representation is flawed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's steps in a good direction. Like the new avatars are more detailed and more kinetic, like they jump around a lot more. Actually, I found a glitch where I set my dude's mood to happy, which makes him jump every once in a while. And if you're going to the face editing mode while they're jumping, it zooms into where the face is at that exact second, and then your avatar moves and you're like, oh no, come back. I'm just looking at a blank background. What's happening to your face, my boy? What's going on? So yeah, that whole system is interesting, and I'm looking forward to what they do with it in the future. The October update is also introducing a new Xbox skill for Cortana and Alexa. With the Kinect finally wrapping up its slow death, it's nice to see that the voice controls aren't completely gone. You still have something going on. The problem is you need to be in either Amazon's or Microsoft's ecosystem in order to have them, instead of just having a microphone plugged into your Xbox like a normal person would.
Yeah.
Along with this, though, one neat thing is Microsoft is offering a limited time bundle of a new Xbox console and an Amazon Echo Dot if you go shopping on the Amazon website.
Oh, really?
So
just a Dot?
Yep.
That's their, like, dime a dozen product.
I think it normally costs like $100-ish bucks, and now it's free.
No. Well,
that
I
right?
guess I hear mostly Americans talk about it, so as far as I knew, it was pretty cheap. Like it was a stocking stuffer.
Oh, and this is the fancy latest 3rd generation Echo Dot, the all new thing. It's $50 American, yeah.
Yeah, 55 Canadian.
Okay, so it's not as fancy as I thought, but still, it's basically bundling in the thing you need for voice controls. Even if you only use it for the Xbox, if it comes with the Xbox for free, that's not terrible. Again, it would be a lot preferable if you could just like plug in any microphone to the Xbox and it would just kind of listen to that for things, but if wishes were horses, beggars might ride.
I'm just trying to hold on to my dying Xbox with my Kinect as long as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, you still have that Kinect port that's not a thing on the S or the X.
No.
Lastly, the update is bringing support for the newest version of Dolby Vision. So if you have a fancy new TV, you can expect to see some crisp HDR graphics on supported streaming video, which is, right as of now, only on Netflix Premium plan. So basically, if you've bought your TV in the last, I'm going to say year, you have an Xbox One X, and you're paying $15 a month for Netflix Premium, then your blacks have never been blacker. So it's really like the stars have to align. You have to have shelled out a lot of money, but just incidentally, hey, it's a nice bonus. Last big news item of the week here. Discord has been making some changes to their Nitro subscription service with the addition of their game store.
Yeah.
And it actually looks pretty interesting.
I hopped on early, so they're like, thanks for supporting us. Here's a bunch of benefits.
Yeah, so before they announced all this stuff, you could get Nitro for $5 a month or $50 a year. Now that tier is called Nitro Classic.
Oh.
And it still has all the exact same old Nitro stuff, but new Nitro. It's just called Nitro. It's taken over the Nitro name. It's $10 a month or $100 a year, and gets you on top of the Nitro Classic benefits of like animated GIF, avatar, 10 times the upload limit on files, all that fanciness. Unlimited access to a growing library of free games, with including titles like Psychonauts, Limbo, and Metro Last Light Redux? I don't know. So I heard that the library is about 60 games at the moment, of just, if you have Nitro, then you get access to these games. You can just play them as much as you want. As a bonus, Nitro supporters like Josh, who signed up before this was all announced, are getting access to Nitro games until 2021 at no extra charge.
Yeah.
So you're technically still on Nitro Classic, but because you were an early adopter on the whole thing, you got 2 years of this whole shenanigans.
And hopefully by 2020, I'll be able to play some of these games.
Yeah, that is one caveat, is they can only be installed and played on Windows computers. Discord is cross-platform, Discord Games is not.
Yeah, and from what I saw, actually a handful of my all-time favorite games are on it, so...
Well, as soon as I saw Psychonauts, I'm like, okay, so Josh is in.
Yeah, Psychonauts is a free one with Nitro, so is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And Darksiders 2, I think, is also free right now. That's not a favorite.
Is that one of your favorites?
No. The list stopped at 2. Sorry.
Yeah, the Darksiders 1 and 2, both of the remastered editions are on that are in that library of games.
Yeah, I was in a completionist mode, and I reinstalled Darksiders 1, and I might try to get all the achievements.
I don't know. I had it installed on my PS4 and loaded it up and played like 20 minutes, and I don't feel like it's aged super well. So, I mean, if you're going to go for completion, then Godspeed.
I definitely thought, this is a classic experience.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Another way is, like, I couldn't figure out how to cross this one gap for a good 5 minutes because a ledge was just, like, weirdly off camera that I needed to grab.
Oh.
Yeah, and just... I don't know. I remember it playing more smoothly than it does now, but I think that's just because games have been evolving, and it's always kind of hard to go back to the classics.
Spider-Man spoiled you.
Yeah, honestly, like, it's every time there's a new game and there's a new, even small evolution on a formula or a mechanic, it's always that much harder to go back. Like, first-person shooters now versus 10 years ago. Like the camera controls weren't as smooth, and or even like if you go back far enough, right stick isn't even camera, and it's just confusing and weird because that's such a staple in every single game nowadays. Yeah,
especially like when you play N64 game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got the C buttons technically. That's for camera if they used it.
Not on DK64. It's a nightmare, dude.
Oh, yeah. DK64 is interesting. I do kind of want to boot that back up and see how I can play it.
Because to like, get your gun, you have to hold, like, C left and then tap A to draw your gun.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, it's weird. You have to, it's a combination of buttons to whip out your gun.
Weird.
I have it all set up. You can come over.
Well, because the C buttons would be on the same thumb as the A button, so that just doesn't make any sense to me unless you get your left thumb over in on the action.
Oh, is it maybe R? Maybe it's R.
R sounds right. Yeah, if you do the C and R buttons, then that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That makes more sense to me. It's still less than ideal, but not as bad as having the Eagle Claw and N64 controller. Get, like, clenched fist on all the buttons.
Yeah, I just remember it being cumbersome.
Mm-hmm. Press Start to Join is brought to you in part by the Otherwise Podcast. Wisdom from the Other is a variety podcast dedicated to empowering diverse communities living on Treaty 6 territory by sharing stories of their lived experiences. The show strives to highlight their collective ethno-cultural linguistic diversity and heritage, reflect on who they are as a city, and bring about positive social change. In the latest episode, the Otherwise team discussed their reasons for wanting a platform that showcases the diverse stories of the others living in Treaty 6 territory. Stay updated by following them on social media. Twitter and Instagram are at otherwise_show, and you can check them out online at otherwiseshow.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I was throwing around the idea that we upgrade Patreon list subscribers to a live listen feature.
Oh yeah, I think we've mentioned that in the past, but we never really officially codified it.
I was thinking of making it so a tier of Patreon could hop in on recording sessions, and we'd be then
PS2J
announcing
raw.
our recording. Yeah, then we'd be announcing when we're recording and stuff in case people can hop on.
Mm-hmm. You can sit there and laugh at our unpolishedness doing this for 6 years and can't sentence good.
Yeah, we have the Patreon privilege tab, which I do post to when we have interesting stuff behind the scenes, numbers and history of gaming poster that I made.
Oh yeah, I love that poster.
I don't even know if I showed anyone in the network.
I don't think you did.
The PS2J Discord. Whoops.
It's been very much on the down low.
It's been all over Patreon privilege, everyone. And you get into that tab for at least $1. That's it.
Yeah. Just give us anything and we'll let you in. We're easy. Wait.
Yeah, we're easy. So, like we said in the beginning, the Alberta Podcast Network's powered by ATB, and ATB's the kind of bank that really lines up with how we want to bank, Alan.
Oh, yeah?
So, they have an all-new digital bank account, and the best part is there's basically no fees as long as you're doing it digitally. Which
I mean, I do no other kind of banking, so that does really work.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for, so it's even better because we'll earn interest on higher balances.
Nice.
So, more money.
Yeah, and you can always check out atb.com/listen for all the cool things that ATB's doing.
Perfect.
And with that, we're on to the tidbits. First up, Apple has actually released their new privacy portal to users outside of the EU. So you can go over to privacy.apple.com and go check out downloading a copy of all the data they have on you, correcting anything they might have wrong. You can temporarily deactivate your account and restrict access, or even permanently delete your entire account and all associated data.
Whoa.
Which is the fact that they let you do that right after we were talking about how Facebook has all this shadow information from the information other people have uploaded about you. It's just, damn. Actually being allowed to delete all my info is kind of liberating. I'm not going to, but being able to. That's nice.
The option.
Yeah, exactly. Apple has also announced that they'll be hosting an event on October 30th. We're expecting new iPad Pro models and possibly new MacBooks. There's also some hopes for a Mac Mini, which hasn't seen an update in years.
Yeah.
But most aren't holding their breath. I think the Mac Mini's been waiting on a refresh for about 4 years now, which is absurd that it's still being sold for full price. It's not new technology by any stretch.
What are they, Nintendo?
Yeah. No, if they were Nintendo, they would have to switch their factories every time they announce a new product. It's iPad or Apple Watch or iPhone or MacBook.
Oh. I was just saying how, like, if you wanted to go get, I don't know, Captain Toad on Wii U, it's still $54.
Yeah, and the fact that physical prices and digital prices always have to be the same, even though Nintendo Switch cartridges are like $10 more than normal DVDs. Nintendo has some weird pricing strategies.
Yeah.
But it's working for them, so I can't really blame them for taking advantage of all the money people will throw at them, because I know I sure do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my fault too.
Well, no, I think a good chunk of your amiibos are scalped, so really that money's not going to Nintendo.
See, I try not to pay scalping prices. I got my Mega Man for like $15 less than scalper's asking price by winning an eBay auction. So I was happy about that.
Isn't that still coming from a scalper, though?
Yeah, but I try to pay as little as I can. It's not fair. All they do is buy all the new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a good job that, you know, is good for people and the world, because I'm working and paying taxes and not being a monster, buying everything I bought digitally.
Well, that was like when I was on the Great AirPod Quest a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was absurd. Like, as soon as they would come in stock, there was people like camping out in Apple stores, buying them immediately, and the photos on Kijiji were taken like at the mall.
Yeah,
Just like right after someone buys them, they're charging like $300. Like, no.
If you do that, you're a bad person, and we don't want you. Please leave.
Just go to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Okay, back to the news. Interesting news from Valve this week. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 and the full contents of the Orange Box have now been patched with 4K support on the Xbox One X.
Why?
It's kind of great, though. Like, the Orange Box was a solid game experience. It's got like both all three Half-Life 2 games, Team Fortress, Portal, and that all hit backwards compatibility a while back, so now it's all in 4K as well. So if you have that Xbox, you can play Portal 1 in glorious 4K graphics.
But since it's been out for like what, a decade now, I have the game like memorized and it's boring.
It's still fun. I mean, Portal, you got the GLaDOS and the what's it and the thingy. Like, the fact that I haven't played Portal in so long, it might be interesting to go back to, because I wouldn't have it memorized, you know?
Oh, I don't know.
It could be interesting. I mean, the thing here is I have neither an Xbox nor a 4K TV. So really, this is news for everyone else in the world. And last tidbit of the week here, the Adventure Zone Volume 2, Murder on the Rockport Limited, is now available for pre-order, coming out on July 16th. And I know the Adventure Zone graphic novel, the first one, I recommended it, I forgot to look this information up, a while ago, right after it came out. And it did such a great job of translating what made the podcast amazing into a comic book. So to me, Adventure Zone Volume 2 is kind of a no-brainer to buy. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can check out details at theadventurezonecomic.com.
I'm going back on our episodes. Oh, here it is. 205 Teathered.
Nice. Oh, I forgot about that. The typo that killed Alien Isolation. Good times. Teathered. Okay, so we're going to do the outro a little differently this week, and probably in the future. Well, you have to wait until the end for recommendations. So now you get to wait for all the things like giving us a rating and review. You can subscribe and review and all that stuff on iTunes or wherever your podcatcher is. And all that stuff really helps visibility, gets us out there into more ears, and lets people know just how cool we are.
And let us know, because we're on social media, so you can tell us we're cool there, and tell your friends. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even email us directly at ps2jshow@gmail.com.
We've also got ps2jshow.com, which is arguably one of the better ways to listen. It's got all the episodes searchable with tags, it's got comments, it's got extra blog posts. It's pretty great.
And thank you to the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB, for being an awesome network that's willing to have us on it.
Yeah, we couldn't do a lot of what we do without them. And a huge thanks, as always, to Kevin MacLeod, the soundtrack of the internet. If you're listening to music on our show, it's probably Kevin MacLeod. You can check him out at incomptech.com.
And since I usually go first, I'm going to recommend... What am I going to recommend now?
Phone app.
So I played a phone app. Can I do an anti-recommendation?
Sure.
Actually, no, I do have a phone app. Oh, wow. So I was trying to think of one, and I thought of the bad one. And there is a good phone app I've played. It's a game that's helping me learn computer logic a little bit. It's this simple game. I've been playing it on Android called Circuit Scramble. And what I like about it is it's a simple game where you just got to turn on nodes that send power down a circuit. And the circuits in the beginning are AND or like chips.
Okay.
So an OR, you can put power into either side, and the AND needs both power. And then I've gotten to the point where I'm actually playing with switches that toggle which direction power goes. There's these, I forget what they call them, inverters. So if they're powered, they stop sending signal, and if they're unpowered, they start sending signal.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
So you gotta sort of power different spots, and I just got to XOR circuits, where I have to power one side of it, but if I power both, it turns it off. And then the game just gives you, it's a more like it doesn't give you a number, it gives you like 3 lights for you did it in the minimum amount of moves. So I've been going through that, getting my logic brain working. I know it's on Android, Circuit Scramble.
While you were talking, I checked on the iOS App Store. It is not, as far as I can tell. There's like a weird kind of hokey similar thing that comes up in the search results, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay.
And my recommendation this week is for another series on Netflix called Maniac. This one I had recommended to me last weekend, and then Sunday I loaded up episode 1, and then Sunday night I turned off the whole series because I have a problem. It was very good. It's a Netflix limited series, so it's 10 episodes and then it's done. Full contained story.
That's
so
good.
I do hope that they come back to this world for more stories, because they've crafted such an interesting entire world around this story that in large part doesn't take place in it. And that there's things like ad buddies where you can, if you don't have the money to pay for a restaurant meal, you can have someone sit beside you and read you personalized ads to cover the cost of the meal. Weird stuff like that where it's like, what's going on in this world?
There's a lot of people I like in it, and I just from watching the trailer, I'm like, this is all my attention or none.
Absolutely. It's very psychological. I didn't recognize Jonah Hill. Like, he left a ton of weight. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, it's a psychological dark comedy drama about 2 strangers drawn into a mysterious pharmaceutical trend. And it's a really entertaining and engaging take on trauma and the acrobatics that our brains do sometimes to deal with. And all the acting is 100% excellent. Like, I'm not going to say every single story was perfect, but it was all executed wonderfully. I'm very happy with the casting and acting choices. It sucked me in for the full 7.5 hours of the series.
Oh, damn.
I can see people with more restraint, like watching episode, think about it, dissect